Ever pondered the intriguing mystery that code can hold? Well, Leo did. After an initial analysis of an enigmatic piece of code, he realized a deeper dive into its historical background was needed. This was more than a technical challenge for Leo, it was an expedition into history. First, Leo marshaled the resources of Domain of the Proxy, leveraging its extensive database to search for historical records related to the code. He sifted through early development logs, archived files, and other documents, hoping to unearth some clues. As he delved into the early history of Domain of the Proxy, Leo stumbled upon some fascinating facts. The initial concept and design of this virtual world were far more basic and experimental, with some ideas abandoned or improved upon in later development. Through his deep dive into historical documents, Leo discovered references with a structure similar to the code. These references pointed towards early experimental projects, some of which seemed to have a subtle connection with the code he had found. In a bid to better understand these early projects, Leo reached out to some senior members and early developers of Domain of the Proxy. Although many were no longer active, he managed to make contact with a few who could provide valuable information. From his conversations with these senior members, Leo gathered oral histories about the early stages of Domain of the Proxy. These histories told the story of its origins, its initial intentions, and some forgotten experiments and attempts. Leo began to compare this information with the code he had discovered. He found that the objectives of certain early experiments bore a striking resemblance to the potential functionality of the code. To further validate his discoveries, Leo visited the old archives of Domain of the Proxy. There, he found some key documents that contained information closely related to the code he had discovered. These archives were a direct record of the early development of Domain of the Proxy, rich in technical details and design philosophy. Leo spent a considerable amount of time decoding these materials, attempting to trace the origin and purpose of the code he had discovered. In an old development log, Leo discovered a description of an adaptive code experiment. This experiment was considered groundbreaking in the early days, but was shelved for unknown reasons. Gradually, Leo became convinced that the code he had discovered had a direct connection with these experimental projects from the early days of Domain of the Proxy. This revelation not only provided a direction for his subsequent exploration, but also deepened his understanding of Domain of the Proxy. Through this series of historical searches, Leo unveiled a corner of the early history of Domain of the Proxy. It is a testament to the fact that sometimes the past holds the key to present puzzles, and a simple piece of code can lead to an intriguing journey through history.